I'd like to call a meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Minutes. I will take a motion to approve the minutes of June 6, 2022.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Abstention.
Appointments, recognitions, and resignations, none presented. Consent agenda, treasurer's report, 2022 Q1 cash position report unaudited. Notification and successful resolution of a letter of warning from the DEP in reference to a sanitary sewer overflow that occurred on April 19th, 2022 at the Gilpatrick Cove Pump Station on Shore Road in Northeast Harbor. Chamber of Commerce 2022 agreement, term July 1, 2022 through June 30, 2023. Neighborhood House 2022 agreement, term July 1, 2022 through June 30, 2023. Ticket booth sales 2022 agreements, term 1, July 1, 2022 through June 30, 2023. Selectmen meeting schedule 2022 through 2023. Holiday schedule 2022, 2023. Hancock County Commissioners special meeting minutes of May 17, 2022. Bypass notice, municipal waste residential, Coastal Resources of Maine, June 9, 2022, and MRC update on facility sale.
Move approval. Second.
Great. Any discussion on any of these items? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay. Selectmen's reports. Any selectmen's reports? Unfinished business. Discussion of Main Street Northeast Harbor sidewalk usage.
And thank you for doing such a good job
Yes.
on these, on the sketches and the photos and everything. I thought it was very helpful to get a visual of what you're actually looking at there. So thanks again for doing that.
So what do you need from us?
I'm here because I has to come back here. Since the last meeting, you guys may have received a sketch with email correspondence and some bench and umbrellas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has been as requested in front of the new building that's being built by MD, or the property for MD 365 for College of the Atlantic. There's going to be a market / takeout on the first floor.
I'm like, I do not know where this is. And
Oh my
I
goodness.
tried, and then I saw that picture and I was like,
121 Main Street.
okay.
Next to Colonel's. So young lady's asked if she could have 4 benches and 2 umbrellas in front of the storefront / takeout. And so because this has been something brought up back at the June 6th meeting, I thought I'd bring it to your attention. And I told her I'd be going to this meeting to have further discussion about use of the town sidewalk for either retail or the display of merchandise and or plant pots and or benches and or A-frame signs. So I'm kind of don't know what your thought process is on this, because I need to know how to enforce this. I did write a letter to
Peter.
Kopana, asking them over their tables and chairs.
Right.
I did get an email, I did get a phone call. I asked them to, they certainly can come to the meeting or a meeting, be placed on an agenda to discuss this further with you, but I haven't heard anything more from them, so.
And they're gone. The
Yeah.
tables are gone.
Yeah.
I guess in the drawing, the sidewalk is labeled as separately from the area, but that's not the
She's showing the
case.
edge of, that's the edge of the sidewalk,
Okay,
whereas
because
it's line and then underneath sidewalk. She says it's about what, 5 to 6 feet, I believe she said in her email.
So I just feel like this is more space than what the other
oh, yeah,
place had with just the picnic tables. Am I correct? It looks to me, now that I know where you are,
Yep.
if the benches are sitting this is parallel,
Well,
right?
she's doing them, yeah,
Perpendicular
this
to the
way.
building.
They were that, they were, yeah.
Right.
That, I mean,
They were perfect, picnic tables were perfect.
Correct, like right up against the building.
Right, she's got them going.
yeah, no,
So I feel like if she turns these benches around and they go next to the building,
Up against the building.
yes.
and I don't
And
I
no to
don't
the-
know
no to
about-
the umbrellas.
I just sort of feel like we've got to be consistent.
What'd you say about the umbrellas?
No to the umbrellas.
No.
That what I would
I
say. I mean,
agree with
I
you.
think that the question about people want to know how wide is the sidewalk at that place and that particular place, I would say that's not a relevant question. We have to start somewhere. And right now, it seems like where we're starting is that you can put a reasonably sized bench or plant pot or something against the building in front of your shop, provided it's not for sale and provided it's not receiving service at that spot. But beyond that, if it's away from the building and it's on the sidewalk, we're saying, no, thank you.
Or if it's poking you in the eye.
Right, well, yeah, I would say that that's just inviting. Yeah, I would have,
I agree,
I would
and
say no.
the Colonels did such a great job of, they have those
Yep.
nice chairs
Yeah.
now, they look terrific, and they got a little place to rest your. top with.
Absolutely.
It's nice,
Mhm.
they should copy that. Different color maybe.
I agree
So
with
those
that.
are nice, yeah.
I mean, as time goes on, again, we've opened the idea to having an exploration of ideas and discussion, but we have to start somewhere. And right now, that seems to be where we
Yeah.
started.
Okay.
And everything else like that you photoed and that I've noticed is
Yep.
Just back up.
pretty close to the buildings. And there's
Mhm.
plenty of room to get
Yeah.
by with
Yeah.
dogs and
Wheelchairs.
bicycles and
that-
wheelchairs
that
and
was my
carriages,
concern.
baby carriages,
Right,
like,
that was my concern.
Yep.
I'm asking her as many questions as I did on this.
The bikes, I guess, was another one. That was the
and I
other one.
like Jeff's point, like, I think down there, the sidewalk is a little wider, but we can't discriminate against the people that don't have the wide sidewalk. So I really like
right.
that point of if it's against the building and it's, I don't know what's deemed reasonable, but everything that you photoed and everything I've noticed.
Now,
there's-
across the other side of the road where there's a narrow sidewalk. I can't remember if I put it in photo, I think I did. Erica, what do you have? Black benches underneath the awnings. They cut nicely in there, you can get by, but it's not as wide
It's a very narrow.
as the other
sidewalk,
side.
Yep, I noticed that as well.
Yeah,
And the other person had a cart out with some
Plants and
flowers.
things.
and jackets for sale over the weekend. But again, I felt like you could get by and it was right up against
I
there.
just- Yep, just wanted to ask on that side, because that is a narrow sidewalk.
And that's, I think, where Jeff's point of we can't discriminate because their sidewalk is a little narrower. It's unfortunate, but
Stephanie,
So can we, because we're talking about my neighbor, can we sell stuff on the street or no? Was that, didn't we decide no on that?
That's what I understood. from
well, I
reading
thought
it.
the way that I've read this and read this, it said if you pick it up and take it into the store and purchase it, right? Was
Sale has to take place.
inside the store.
Okay.
Okay.
But you're okay with displays on the sidewalk, and I've asked that about racks and like the chairs that Stephanie had mentioned of her neighbors. When I took the pictures, there was no tags on them. They were just
There's
out
tags today and I do not care either way. I'm just curious.
It appears to me when she's open, she has tags and signs that say, don't sit there. And when she's closed, people are sitting there and enjoying their coffee from the
there. Yeah,
curb.
she was closed when I went by. I took all those photos. They were out there, but they did not have tags on.
used first.
So that's a good question.
Antiques.
Antiques.
So I guess that, yeah, you, again, it's the actual sale takes place in the building.
Right.
So how do you feel about displayed merchandise on the sidewalks?
I guess is, I mean, in I don't love it, but I mean, again, I would, if it was up against the building and took no more space than a bench might, I guess I would say
Get them
that that's
going.
not the battle we want to, the hill we want to die on right now.
As long as it's not obstructing.
I agree.
Yeah.
So with regard to the umbrellas.
Yeah.
An awning would be a reasonable alternative,
Yeah,
correct?
Yeah.
That would be great.
So we might be able to suggest something positive in terms of saying, no, you can't have an umbrella because they stick out and they're lower to the ground. But an awning may do the same thing for your customers and provide them the shade that you're looking to provide for them.
And you're right about Erica's little place. That really looks quite cute and quaint,
Yeah.
and I love the little Adirondack chairs in front of the kernels. Like, I think it
Yeah.
looks
Yeah, that does
nice.
look welcoming.
It's nice. Tony, you had something?
Yes, you guys are talking about with the sidewalk, to conform with American with Disabilities Act standards, you need to maintain 32 inches plus the curb, 32 inches wide plus the curb. I'm not advocating to move things right out to 32 inches in the curb, but that's the minimum requirement by ADA.
Good to know.
Does that help you?
It does, yeah, no, I appreciate it. I just really want the guidance. I was
Yep.
uncertain when I left at the last meeting. But I did write the letter and you all had a copy. so-
Yeah, thank you.
And I appreciate enclosing that policy, because I know it's there on the website, but it was good to read and try to interpret and try to see how somebody else might interpret. And
Thank you.
Okay. So we're done with Main Street?
Mm-hmm.
All right, request selecting signatures on letter to congressional delegation to contact the Secretary of the Interior over the causeway bisecting Otter Creek Harbor due to concerns about Quartet flushing. Okay, this is something we tabled because Martha wasn't here. We needed all signatures, so,
You got mine.
okay, so we don't need any more of that. Annual board and committee appointment amended.
Oh,
So I noticed when I was going through some of the stuff in the files that I had inadvertently had a couple of incorrect dates for their
okay.
terms.
All right.
So I corrected that, and when I did the sort, a couple of people had dropped off in my sort, so I put them back in.
Okay.
Okay,
I have a question. Are these just the people that are being re-upped this year? So this isn't the full committee?
No.
Okay. The only one I question, maybe you've had contact with Ed Gans. Is he around? Because I haven't seen him in ages.
I'll have to go and pull.
He's on the broadband. He was on the broadband, but a
on the
long
broadband.
time ago. And
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah,
I
Ed
haven't-
is, I think he's in Portugal teaching.
yeah, he's been teaching in Portugal, so I don't,
So I
Last
can
few
remove
years.
him if you.
well, you could try
Want-
calling him and see if he's around or email him or something.
Well, I did send out a letter.
Yeah.
And
Did he respond?
I have to go get my
Yeah,
list.
yeah.
but,
I would just check on that because I think he's not around.
Okay.
I haven't seen
Well,
him.
if they're operating on Zoom, he doesn't have to be, I guess.
If
Well, but
if I may
I don't-
add to that, I have some updated information on that. Because I saw the lists as well, and Ed Gans is somebody I have never met at any of those broadband committees because he hasn't been there. And so I asked him if he wanted, I saw his name on the list. I asked him if he wanted to continue because as secretary, I keep sending him emails and I don't want to fill up his mailbox with junk if he doesn't want it. He said, thanks for asking, happy to stay on, keep sending the emails. So I'll stay informed as I can, so.
Kathy. All right.
So do we
So
need
do
a
we-
motion to accept that?
yeah, to accept the amendment.
I would move that we accept the amended committee appointment report.
Second, all in favor? Great, thank you. Authorize allocation of ARPA funds to cover employer side payroll costs in the amount of $10,574.85 associated with premium payments in the amounts of $57,381.35 and $1,998.93 authorized on 4/4/22 and 4/19/22 respectively.
Move authorization.
Second.
All in favor?
I'm going to abstain.
New business. Public space special event application, T-Don class for seniors, Summersby Park.
I'll move approval.
I'll second that.
So I just want to note, and Miss Sassman.
She's
is-
here.
Yeah, she's up there.
Yeah,
She is aware that on Monday, July 11th, there is a family picnic scheduled from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and she expects her class to be done by then. But she's aware that there's another thing right after her.
Well, it sounds like a great thing. The only thing I had a question about was it said 20, potentially 20 people. Is that considered what, a maximum expectation, or is that, have you experienced that before?
Yeah, the class ranges, depending on how many people can make it each time. They're seniors, so some may not feel well or have doctor's appointments but it's open to everyone. I think I may not have had 20, but it's possible. That would be
Okay.
the most, probably.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Or to get moved and seconded or
I
something?
think I moved in seconds, yeah.
All in favor?
I don't have that move in second, I'm
I
sorry.
moved it.
And I seconded it.
I didn't get it either.
We were very fast.
All right, thank you, guys.
A public space special event application, wedding vow exchange, Seal Harbor Village Green, September 4th, 2022, 2:30 to 5:30. Christopher Strout.
I would move approval.
Second,
I just had a question. Is this, he says 100 people. Does this happen routinely? I mean, I haven't approved one of these before, so
We've had a couple of weddings over
Yeah.
there.
okay.
yeah.
Parking isn't great, obviously, but I assume he's
Yeah.
checked that situation out.
No,
That's not
great.
Labor Day, right? September 4th? I don't know.
Labor Day Sunday.
It's Labor Day Sunday.
And this is Saturday?
No, it's Sunday.
This is Sunday.
Oh, this is Sunday. Oh, Labor Day.
Labor Day's a following
Better get
day.
people to carpool.
As
Okay.
best we can, yeah.
Yeah. There hasn't been any problem.
Okay,
No.
I just like, wow, 100 people on the green. That's okay. That's fine.
Did we move and second that one,
No.
Heidi?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, all in favor? Okay. Dobbs Productions Inc. request to use public access channel 1301 for summer 22 and winter 23.
This is pretty straightforward, right?
This is,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
We do
thought.
it every year.
That's what I
yeah.
Move approval. Second.
all in favor? As described in Public Works Director Tony Smith's June 16th, 2022 memo to Town Manager Derlin Lund, consideration of purchasing our estimated need of 1,700 tons of road salt for FY '23 from New England Salt at a price of $75 per ton.
Move approval.
Second,
I know there was some explanation, but why is it, is everybody's salt prices going up by
Yeah.
50%?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Wow.
should-
That's really important.
Supply and gas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wow. Okay.
Did we vote?
Yes.
We did not vote.
Oh, we
No.
moved and seconded.
All in favor?
thank you.
So
That's a 50%.
Okay,
That's close to 50%.
Yeah, I
That's
was
crazy.
shocked, but
consideration of Public Works Director Tony Smith's request for select board authorization to solicit competitive bids for the purchase of a new model year 2024 dump plow truck, dump body, and associated plow equipment for the Highways Division of the Public Works Department as described in his June 16th, 2022 memo to Town Manager Derlin Lund.
I'll move approval.
second,
I just have one question.
Yep.
For Mr. Smith, because I'm back on the board new, is this solicitation consistent with your CIP?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Yeah, I'm guessing they haven't started pumping out electric vehicles in this range yet.
Correct. I'll be coming to you next meeting with a request to get a new Packer truck, and the same thing stands. And you'll notice we're ordering, they expect us to get the truck in 2 years. We need to get in line.
yeah,
Wow.
2 years.
All right. So
So we have a motion, a second.
Yes, we do.
Okay, all in favor?
Thank you.
Authorized pay increase for Heidi Smolich from $13.50 to $15 an hour to be effective 7/1/22.
Move approval with
Absolutely.
enthusiasm.
Yeah, seconded.
Second, all in favor?
Can I just
Oh, go
ask
ahead.
a question?
I missed the second. Rip? Did you say?
Sure.
I missed it, I'm sorry.
All right, forget it then. No.
Does this include time for all the, when she goes home and does the minutes and everything? Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make, you do a great job and that's,
Yes, you do.
That's a- yes,
That's-
100%.
that's-
It's
And
still a
also
pretty good
planning
deal.
Board and also Board of Appeals.
Okay.
Wow.
So
Your accuracy is amazing.
this recording is very good. Definitely relying on those during the
Well, that's good.
difficult
That is
parts.
good.
But anyway.
Okay, did we vote on that?
Not yet.
I'll vote.
Okay, all in favor? Okay. Review and consider adopting expense reimbursement policy. Good one.
Yeah, seems like it.
Straightforward.
Yeah.
Trying to make sure everyone's on the same page. And I don't know if you noticed, but my experience with expense reimbursement policies is typically been with municipalities that were solely ran by a board and then consultants. And so the expense reimbursement policy does apply to both employees of the town as well as elected officials and board members if they're conducting, if they're doing town business.
So is the IRS figure for mileage the same as the GSA? Is it just
GSA.
general county? Well,
General
GAO.
Services Administration.
To be honest with you, I don't know.
It is.
It is gonna be the same, yeah.
They use the same federal standard across the board.
57.5 cents a mile or something.
Yeah.
July 1, it's going up to 6.
58.
July 1, it's going up, or the
Initially,
school one is.
Yeah, I mean, it'll.
It's
this
like
policy is set to
62
change
cents.
as
Well,
the IRS.
I mean, it should be, but
That's why a lot of, like the lab, they don't let you use their own vehicle. They'll rent you a car because it's less expensive.
I just was working with somebody today and it's cheaper for her to fly from Bar Harbor to Boston than it is to drive and get reimbursed mileage.
Wow.
Yeah, John has to go to Connecticut all the time and they rent him a car.
Now, people that have town vehicles use their town vehicles for they don't get reimbursed mileage, right?
Correct. If they were using their town vehicle for the trip, that would, you don't need to double dip like that.
No, but like
Or not double dip, but yeah, that's
You're
already paid for through the.
required or suggested to use your town vehicle, not your personal vehicle.
Yeah, when appropriate, when applicable. I think that there may be some examples, like, for example, I think the code enforcement truck, assessed truck, that stays here for the most part. So if Ken needs to go to a training and she's leaving from her house and coming back to her house, she would take her personal car and then we reimburse mileage for that.
And I like the meal estimations per day. I've learned the hard way. That's a good, realistic thing to have.
Yeah. At the high school? you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we need to vote on this?
To prove it.
Yes.
All in
Move
favor?
I
adoption.
have no.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Thank you. Authorize the allocation of $57.19 from the expendable income balance of the Frank F. Stanley Trust to the Mount Desert Elementary School departmental budget to offset costs associated with the care, maintenance, and improvement of the infield of the Frank F. Stanley Athletic Field.
Move authorization. Second. This is all after the last discussion about trust. Yeah,
This, as far as I can tell, this is the only actionable item
okay.
from that conversation. And we'll do this annually going forward, and that should satisfy our requirements.
Great.
We have a motion and a second.
Yeah.
All in favor? Authorized transfer of $2 million from the town's First National Bank money market account to the town's operating account to ensure adequate cash flow.
Move authorization.
Second,
Any discussion on this? This is standard.
It is standard, just to note, this was discussed at the investment committee meeting, and they recommended approval.
Great.
there's no real change either way from where it's now to where we're recommending to send it.
Just cash flow issue.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor? Great. Accept and authorize CRP grant funds
Is it,
received.
excuse me, I have a question. Is the operating account at First National, is it at Bar Harbor?
The operating accounts, Bar Harbor. and-
Okay, so I don't want to vote on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so you're an abstaining.
Yes,
Accept and authorize CRP grant funds received for the installation of 2 charging stations.
Move approval, acceptance, authorization, whatever I need to do.
Second.
Great. Does everyone know what this is?
You can tell he's plugged in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is grant money.
I really wish you would read the entire thing out
No, no, no,
loud.
no, no, no. No, this is, we get another copy of this. We've had several copies. of this. And we actually got the money.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of money in but the lion's share of it is to put in these charging stations,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
there's more.
Is that what's going in down at the
Like to
corner of the
say.
parking lot?
No, that's not, that's a different.
permit.
Kiosky thing?
Yeah,
Oh.
these two stations have not been started. We're just. Or anything.
Oh,
I mean,
we're
it
just-
shows
We're just
them exactly where they're gonna be.
We just got the money.
Okay,
We just
so
got
this
the
was
money. Yeah.
accepting, which we had already.
Accept and authorize. Okay, so, okay, all in favor? Thank you. Vote to authorize the expenditure of funds approximately $2,000 for the ICLEI collaborative membership shared in Fremont and Bar Harbor, which will allow access to a software platform for gathering, curating, and analyzing municipal carbon input data. So this is the group that. For a
Wait.
shi-
Do we do the?
No, no, you skipped
Yeah, we're
K.
on K.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'll go back and read it again later.
Sorry.
Accept and authorize CRP grant funds received for the engagement of ACTT in our Climate Ambassadors Program. This again was money that we got in that grant to do outreach, and we are going to funnel that to the ACTT.
Move approval.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? And now I get to vote to authorize the expenditure of funds for the ICLEI collaborative membership shared with Fremont Bar Harbor, which will allow access to a software platform for gathering, curating, and analyzing municipal carbon output data.
Just so you know what ICLEI means, I had to look it up.
Sounds
But
awful.
It's the International Council for Local Environmental Initiatives.
Can I ask a quick question about this?
Yes.
Has there been discussion as to the funding source?
Yes, so the discussion was, and Tony, you can chime in on this, but there's actually a line item in Tony's budget for sustainability.
Okay, that's the route.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds
Yeah.
good.
So is each town putting in the
2,000 for each town,
2,000? Okay. The icky fund?
And we'll
I
be getting,
slide.
we'll be getting an intern from COA theoretically to actually input the data.
Okay, so
Move approval?
second.
Good, all in favor? And vote to authorize the Climate Action Task Force to pursue the Northeast Harbor Elementary School as a possibility for our next energy audit.
Move approval.
Second.
That's, okay. Go ahead.
What?
Yeah, I mean, that's already, I've reached out, I did all the outreach just to find out if that was gonna be possible, should we approve it? And it's all good to go.
Okay, awesome.
So Johanna's already been in touch. I got in touch with Mike Zabori, and
So
Gloria and whatever's not, I can't remember his name, but it's all good, it's all good.
Okay. So we probably ought to at least vote on it.
Well, it's not going forward until we authorize it,
Yeah,
but
so yeah.
it's the table is
Everybody
set,
is-
and we can now serve the meal.
Oh, very well. put.
Put that in here.
Okay, motion and a second.
Hello.
Okay, all in
Oh,
favor?
Tony
Oh,
has a-
Tony, go ahead.
We haven't decided yet on who's going to do the energy audit, correct?
That
No.
is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Wait, who moved? Oh, no, I got it, yeah.
Yeah, all set? Okay, thank you. Any other business?
Nope.
Okay, treasurer's warrants.
Can I ask something?
Yes,
Kendall, his name.
Kendall?
No. that was-
Yes, I spoke with Derlin a couple of weeks ago, And he asked if I would be willing to attend tonight's meeting, and I think that's probably under other business, unless you have another plan for me. To
just
speak on
wanted-
behalf of,
Yeah, I wanted to get a quick recap for you guys about the last task force meeting, or I guess you would call it task force, it's the advisory commission.
For the park, right?
The park,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Especially
Yep.
since the park had recommended that the town will start working with the park on some of those action items that had Kendall pushing before them. I think they got tired of Kendall reiterating them time and time again, so they said, look, you guys go see the park and take care of that. Sum it up, Kendall, pretty well.
that pretty well summed it up. I think we cut it really short there. They'd like for the town and Acadia National Park, that is the commission, would like them to work on reconciliation regarding these two matters. That's the lot size at Otter Cove for the public landing and the public water for the fish house on the Outer Cove. So what was recommended by then Chairman Erlenbach was that the town and Acadia National Park need to come together and work together and reconcile on these two matters before they come before the commission again.
Right.
I think, like Mr. Lunt said, they're getting tired of hearing about it. The other thing that was mentioned during the Acadia National Park Advisory Commission's meeting was regarding engineering of that site where the public landing is. When that was mentioned, it was like, that would be great. That would be something that we can see as a good faith effort to go forward and talk about this and work with you, especially a layout of what is expected and anticipated for needs versus development. So it'd have to be a complete engineering study survey of that public landing site and what is desired to be obtained for additional property. That's what the park is looking for, and that's what the people involved are looking for. So, in a nutshell.
Should I, Kendall, do you think it'd be a good idea if I worked with Brandon about trying to set up some of these meetings?
I think so. And I think Kevin is open to those meetings also. Mr. Snyder is open to these meetings also. And not only that, explicitly, if Kim was here, she'd be allowed. They mentioned Kim Keen's name. Those are the people they want there. Tony Smith. They want people from Mount Desert as well as Acadia National Park, the great minds to come together. And then they can see where we're headed with this whole thing, and we can go from there.
Tony, go ahead.
I'd suggest any discussion of public water would need to involve the water district, Mount Desert Water District.
Yeah, Tony,
And-
that can I just 1 second here? I generalize when it comes to the public landing, and reconciliation was mentioned for both matters. But I want to make this clear, and I go back to what Keith Johnston and I have it in one of my documents here, and it's public regulation regarding that water supply. It's something that is not as easily advanced as the possibility and probability of expansion of the public town landing, due to the fact that regulation does exist, and it would require Mount Desert Water District to want to acquire that complete line, that infrastructure, of which Acadia National Park maintains right now, and they pay the costs for maintaining it. That means not just to the line down through to the park's infrastructure, it would be all the way, they'd have to have an easement all the way through the park to that fish house on the shore. And it's not happening. So
if I may.
Yes. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
thank you.
I interrupted you.
Tony, go ahead.
Kendall, I think, Mr. Chairman, I think I heard Kendall mix and match the landing with public water. Those are exclusive. And this came, the water district was approached, and won't hurt to ask again, but they should be involved in discussions. They were asked about extending the water out there, and Kendall summed it up very aptly. They don't want them. And be very expensive, and then they would have to maintain, it would have to be turned over to them for ownership, and they would have to maintain it. And a survey for the landing we have a lot of that work done already when we built the pier. So I could put someone in touch, or I can do it. Get in touch with the engineering firm that did that design work for us, get the drawings and see just what needs to be added to it.
That's a good idea.
Yes.
Okay.
But there's good baseline, base map already.
Okay, Kendall, go ahead.
If, one thing, Tony, that I want to add on there. That's great. That engineering, that survey work, that's wonderful. I believe what they're looking for is the surrounding area.
Yep.
What does the town actually require to complete this task? And what will it take? And not just that, with regulations, the laws, will blasting be required? The cost of it could be substantial. So it's something that needs to be understood from the get-go. And I think they'd feel more secure, well-being if they were able to see, hey, this is not just a dream. This is something that is attainable. It's not untouchable, unfathomable. It's a project that can be completed. And this is what's required to do it.
Tony,
If I could, John, Kendall, is this for additional park at the landing? Additional parking?
Additional parking, and I believe also Mr. Lunt can fill us in, but it's also accessibility so that a vehicle doesn't end up in the water trying to get out of there. It's that narrow, and you've been down there.
Yeah, well,
And-
the width is dictated by the easement that the town has, 15 feet.
Yes,
And the survey was done by a licensed surveyor, so it'd be a good base map. But you're looking at, to generate any parking, it'd be quite expensive.
Yeah.
Extremely, because it's
Yeah.
basically straight up from the high water mark, not straight, but at quite an angle. Not impossible, but there'd have to be a lot of the ordinances, regulations addressed, and some deep pockets.
and I was only speculating. I do not have
Oh,
the
yeah.
degrees to base that up anything, but I can look at that and to what my direction would be an engineer. An engineer is qualified to put their stamp on it, and whichever way it goes.
Mr. Chairman,
yeah, Tony.
do you want me to follow up on the survey?
Yeah, I think you
Now.
probably should. At this stage of the game, we probably should have all that.
I'll give them a heads up that it might be coming. And yeah,
Kendall,
you definitely want that engineered if you,
Yeah.
a study first, and then any
Kendall,
action.
this has the feel that it's had for the last 30 years that I've been involved. A sort of a quid pro quo. What is the quid pro quo here for the town? to
Well,
get that?
What I gathered from last year's assessment was that they want something of equal value or more in exchange. It's required of the Department of Interior. And when we looked at properties that possibly could be utilized in a transfer, a land swap per se, it was looking at the Aid Society's fish house and looking at the whole ownership of the lot that has an easement on it already on the outer cove.
But those aren't town owned.
They're not. And that would require the Aid Society being willing to move forward with a land swap using those two properties. Of course, John, there's always other properties that are desired by the park, and these are just two that were mentioned. So if something else were to come up, if it's on their list, their acquisition list, they would listen. They would listen.
Yep.
Okay.
So it is a quid pro, it's going to be something to be given for it. It's not for free.
No, I get it. I get it.
These movements.
What I don't want to see happen, Kendall, is I don't want to see this end up where it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
With the same lots being talked about and the same impasse.
And that's why I'm looking at these little movements, such as gestures, such as this one. I think the place to start, and I agree with Tony, that the engineering and the survey of the property are very important. But I think the place to start is to bring the minds together. I think it's best to bring Mr. Lunt and Mr. Snyder together and Ms. Keen and Mr. Smith and Keith Johnston and a few others at AMP over so that they can converse on this and take it back to the office and discuss it if we have to. Just to see if this is anything that's ever going to have an inkling of occurring, of happening. That would be my recommendation. But I'm leaving it up to you folks. You're the select board. So I bring it back to you. Here you go.
Well, Kendall, I think it's been great that you've been able to advance this to that point where you can even get into those discussions. I think that's great.
Mr. Lund, it's so minor movement, and I expected more. I don't expect them to bow down. Oh, you know, this is so great. We'll give you anything you want. But I see a historical site down here, Otter Cove, and it is a historical site. People, yeah, right. So Champlain laid up his ships there. They were pretty junked out, so you need to do something with them. But the historical perspective, the community perspective, everything seems intact. It's not a preservation area. It's a conservation area, always has been. But it's being treated as though it's a preservation area that no one should have any access to or do anything with. And that's where I agree with some, but I don't agree wholeheartedly with taking things apart and building let's say a gas port down there or something like that if it was allowed. That's ridiculous, ridiculous. But this is not ridiculous. This is just a small usage for the community. It's very limited and it's not asking for much in my opinion.
Yeah, just
Tony.
Kendall, my understanding of speaking with people is what some are looking for is just a place to turn around and parking for a handful of people.
Yeah, you see it all
Or
the
to be
time.
able to drive down, unload a boat, turn around and drive back up onto the street.
Yep. You see it in Northeast Harbor, you see it in Seal Harbor.
That's-
With that comes the responsibilities, as we know as a community, of law enforcement and vagrancy, loitering, drinking. It all goes along with this. And I have heard concerns from community members. Why do we want that there?
Well,
Okay.
Well, this would, if we did come to an understanding with the park, we would go to town meeting anyway.
Mhm.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, just to try to get to the point where we can get there. So that's great, Kendall. I
Okay,
appreciate
great.
it.
Thanks, Kendall.
Thanks, Kendall.
Yeah, we
Okay,
better-
all right, let me know what you want to do, folks, okay?
All right.
I'm just thinking before you get too far into the weeds, I would suggest members of the board just visit the site and see what we're discussing, what is being discussed down at the pier and whatnot. It's tight space, isn't it, Ken?
Very tight. You
It
get
might be
down in
old.
there and you want to get out of there. And I think, John, you've been down there, haven't you?
Yeah, in fact, without paving down there, it makes it really kind of a dangerous proposition.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're not allowed to pave.
Yeah.
Nice to
that's-
see you, Kendall.
Nice seeing you all.
Kendall,
Nice seeing
thank
you all.
you.
Take
Thank you,
care.
Tony.
Bye.
Okay, treasurer's warrants.
Kathy.
Oh, Kathy, go ahead.
I had prepared a memo to the board from the broadband committee asking for approval of a proposal from Casco Bay Advisors to take the town to the next level of conversation with Spectrum and Consolidated. Have you all seen that memo and that proposal?
No.
Can we have this added to the next Board of Selectmen meeting agenda? And I'll send it to whomever it needs to get to.
Yeah,
What did we do? We did something with that in the last couple months.
oh, not really.
We-
You talked about the concept, I think, John. You
Oh,
never taken any
right.
action.
You had taken action on approving a proposal back for a project that Casco Bay did. He drove along every street and every driveway to get a house by house, building by building situation of what's where. Who has cable, who doesn't, who has fiber, who doesn't, who has just DSL. So we have a very good layout of what exists and where there are gaps. But to take this to the next level, we want to really pursue conversations with Consolidated about fiber to the premises, fiber to the home, and what that would look like. And they're doing that in other parts of the country and other parts of Maine. We want them to focus here, and we know it would take a public-private partnership probably, but we want to have those discussions and would trust Brian Lippold and Casco Bay to do those conversations with us. So I think it would be useful for you to have a copy of the proposal. We knew we couldn't have him act on it before the new fiscal year anyway, but I was hoping that it was going to be on this agenda. And I've been away for a couple of weeks and I know Derlin's been out, so best laid plans.
We'll get to it. Yeah.
All right, try and get it on next agenda then. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Kathy.
Do we have that proposal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Good. Anything
The
else?
proposal and the letter, so
Okay,
I
thank you.
was trying to dig those out Friday, and I just couldn't do it. I was trying. My brain was not allowing me to do it, unfortunately.
Other business. Okay, any other business? No. Treasurer's warrants, approve and sign treasurer's warrants, town invoices, AP 2275 and AP 2301 in the amount of $1,108,706.26.
Move approval and signature.
Second.
All in favor? State fees and payroll benefits, AP 2270, 2273, 2274, and PR 2229 in the amount of $199,859.92.
Move approval.
Second. Good. All in favor?
One abstention, please.
And acknowledge treasurer's school board, school payroll number 25 in the amount of $122,442.52.
Move acknowledgement.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?